When the contest is over and the final score has been tallied, will you even stick around to see who won? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day 1 of the Torah portion, Miketz. Let's go to Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter 41, and read verse 1. And it came to be at the end of 2 years' time that Pharaoh had a dream. We'll pause right there. At the end of 2 years' time. When you hear the phrase at the end, one would ask, at the end of what? Well, the point of reference here is 2 years. But 2 years from what? 2 years of Joseph's entirety of prison life, or 2 years since he interpreted the cupbearer's dream and the man was restored to his court position? The latter seems to be the most popular choice here. If so, then we would understand that Joseph has been sitting in prison waiting for 2 years for something to happen. Let's imagine that we are inside his mind. It may be a hard place for us to get into. But Joseph has had a dream. He had it when he was some 17 years of age. And that is that he would be the head of his family, that his brothers and even his parents would bow down before him, that he would be a man of great significance. And as such, all of his regal dreams about himself, the personal splendor he thought he might have, are going to come to pass. But in order for that to take place, he may be still imagining, I've got to get out of this prison in order to be able to return home so that my vision can come to pass. But the thing is here, it says, it's at the end of 2 years. Not that Joseph has a dream, but Pharaoh has a dream. Little quick point here, not the intended main thrust of today. But in order for your dream, your goal, your desires to come to pass, it may be encapsulated in you helping someone else realize their dreams. It's not to say that yours are not important. They are. But if we're only looking to fulfill our own dreams, goals, and visions, then we may be overlooking the path that Yah has established for us in order to realize them. You got to know your destiny. And if you don't know your destiny, you don't know the steps you need to take. And if you don't know your identity, then how can you know your destiny? You got to know who you are, not what your current circumstance says about you, not what your past experience says about you, but who you are according to Yah's purposes and callings. Who are you? Where do you believe that you fit in the grander scheme of things? You may not be first place and out there on the cutting edge. Most of us are not. But somewhere in the mix of everything, front, middle, back, somewhere, we have a role to play. We have something significant. We have something that we need to be doing, adding to the mix in order for the whole to come about. So you need to know your place. But that's probably not where you are at the moment. It's rare that people find the fulfillment, the total fulfillment of their place right where they stand. There needs to be some adjustment. There needs to be some growing. There needs to be some maturing, especially. Broadening of skills, learning, acquiring certain things. For example, as a little kid, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to play the guitar. And I imagine myself on stages playing in front of people and couldn't make the first note, had no clue, didn't even own a guitar. Got one from Sears and Roebuck from my parents, I think, for a holiday gift one time. But all I knew how to do was to turn the tuning pegs and break strings on it. I was in my 30s before I ever picked up a guitar. and actually trying to play the thing. Now, I can spend as much time as I want almost playing guitar if I want, and I got a few to choose from, thankfully. What I'm saying is it took a while. It took 30 years to realize a dream and a goal and a desire. Now, I'm not the master craftsman on guitar that I dream about in my head. There's a lot more hours of practice between now and then. So that means I have to acquire some skill. That's just a simple example that you may be able to apply to your life. What do you need to do? What do you need to learn? We can't sit on the front porch and wait for the end to come and somehow expect, well, it's all going to work out somehow. You are the somehow. You are the process of getting from where it is that you need to be. But again, it very well may involve you helping someone else get to where they need to be or to achieve a certain quest on their own part in order for your door to be able to be opened. Now, here's an aspect of what I want to share today, and that is that it's at the end of 2 years' time. One can learn to endure, as Joseph did, evidently in prison, and even persevere under adverse circumstances, again, which he had to have done, if they believe that they can achieve a higher goal as a result. In other words, even though one may be in exile, there is hope of an end to the exile. And at the end of the exile, that there will be something worth holding on for. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, a verse that many of you could probably quote, Yah says, "For I know the plans that I am planning for you, declares Yahweh, plans of peace and not of evil, to give you a future," here's a good word, an expectancy. Another translation that I read one time says to give you hope and the final outcome. I love that. That there is, when all things said and done, when the final scores have been tallied, I want to show up to see how things turned out. I don't want to throw up my hands and say, well, it's not possible that I achieved very much. Stick around to see how it worked out. There is hope in the final outcome. It's not all said and done yet. If there is breath in the body, if there is a day yet to live and embrace, there is hope, there is opportunity. You don't want to wait until you're drawing your last breaths on this earth to be able to achieve something. You want the opportunity to stand in it and move in it and worship in it and praise in it, and then train someone else to get there as well. Rashul, the Apostle Paul, said this in the book of Philippians chapter 3, verse 13, "Brothers, I do not count myself to have laid hold of it yet." He's still operating in hope. "But only this, forgetting what is behind, not letting my past define me, and reaching out for what lies ahead, keeping up with my dreams and visions, that which I hope to see come to pass." Verse 14, "I press on toward the goal for the prize of the high calling of Elohim and Messiah Yeshua." What is he saying? I'm pressing, I'm remaining as a part of my somehow. That understanding that I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. I don't know exactly how many more doors have got to be walked through in order to see it happen. But I know it's going to happen. But I've got to be pressing, pushing, striving, involved, investing, praying, listening, in order for the somehow to come to pass. So this is not wishing upon a star and crossing your fingers and just hoping so. This is being a part of the doing so, the somehow, so that the reality of your hope, your ambition, your goal, your vision, your dream can be your destiny and your reality. And we'll see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.